If you want to live a life of true freedom, there are 6 pillars that you really need to focus on, especially as a Christian man or woman, baby, child, whatever age group you are. There are 6 pillars that you need to follow. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I really just grade these and implement them in my own life. So let me pull up the iPad real quick and let's walk into the freedom equation. So again, this is what I call the freedom equation. And really we start with the most important thing in my life. I hope it's the most important thing in your life, but it is faith. For me, faith means God. For you, it might be the universe. It might be just trusting in yourself. Again, for me, this is God. This is the unwavering faith that I have that no matter what happens, God is going to really just give me everything that I need to get through it. If you haven't watched the other video that I posted, that kind of tells you a little bit about all the stuff that I've gone through growing up, from the abuse, the drug addiction, all of that, until I started putting this faith as the number one thing in my life. Everything else was in chaos. So I'm going to draw this out in like little pillars. So that way you can kind of see we got us a little pillar here. I'm not the greatest artist. And then we put the pillar lines. So the first pillar we want to focus on is faith. We times faith with family. This could be if you're in a relationship. It could be if you have children. It could be just your mom and dad. But making sure that the relationships in your life, you plant the seeds and you water them and you just allow them to grow into fruit. So we have faith as the first pillar, family as the second pillar. Then we're going to go to one of my favorite pillars, which I think a lot of people, in America with the obesity rate, all of that, this pillar it's overlooked way too often. And as you might have guessed, it is the fitness. So fitness, for me, it's going to the gym. It's getting my steps in. I have a standing desk, so I can put it up and I can stand, make sure I'm not sitting all day, because you need to be moving. If you want your mind to work at the highest capacity possible, then you need your body to be in the best shape possible. This doesn't mean you need rock hard abs. It doesn't mean you need to be just freaking jacked like people on steroids and stuff like that. It just means that you need to focus on your health. That's eating good. It's your spiritual health as well. Like, what are you putting into your mind? It is the food you're eating, and if you're taking supplements, all of that goes into your fitness. And as a man, if you're not focusing on your fitness, then unfortunately, I don't believe in the whole dad bod BS. I fully believe that we are warriors as men, and if something bad happens, God forbid, then we need to make sure that we are trained. One of the amazing people I've had on my podcast talks about being dangerous, but not a danger. That means you're trained to kill, per se, but you're not actually out there to hurt people. You're there to protect. And if you're not focusing on your fitness and you got these flabby arms, you can't do a pull-up. I look at it this way. Imagine if you are on the side of a cliff and you fall and you pull yourself up, or your wife falls and you can't pull her up because you skipped out on the gym. You don't take care of your health and you don't incorporate any fitness into your life. That one thing, it's a broken man. And unless you have all of these in place, I would say that, you are a broken man. So we have faith, family, fitness. We're going to go to the next one, which is, these are just getting worse and worse, which is your finances. So how are you generating income? It could be a business, it could be a career, it could be a job. Whatever it is, you need to focus on how can you get as much money as possible in the most ethical, of course, way possible. For me, it's running a business. I have an advertising agency, and then I help men become en masse. If you want to learn more about that, you can check out the link below. And it's a 30-day challenge where we're taking those shadowy parts of us, which is just the dark parts that we don't really share to anybody. And in most cases, we've just buried them so deep that we don't even think about them. It's bringing those dark pieces into the light and then handing them over to God. So that way you no longer have to carry that burden by yourself. So I have multiple ways that I increase my finances. This allows my wife to be a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't have to work another day in her life if she doesn't want to. Finances is just making sure that you have at least 6 months of your bills in savings. So that way you can just be prepared for any just disaster happening, whether that is losing your job and having to go find another one, your business going under if you own a business. And it's just really just making sure that no matter what happens in your life, that you are financially set. So life insurance, investments, whether that's real estate, crypto, stocks, all of these different things, you just need to really focus on that pillar of finance. The next one is what I like to call fun. There are so many men in the world that just aren't having fun in their lives. I was one of those men. I was so focused on the finance pieces that the fun part just kind of diminished. I was so focused on my family and my fitness that I just didn't make time for fun. And I think that having fun is one of the most crucial aspects to enjoying your life, because if you're not having fun and you're not actually enjoying your life, then you're just slowly dying. You're not out there just living. And the last one, which is extremely important, all of these are about the same level of importance. I would 100% put faith as the number one most important factor. But this last one is fulfillment. And that is just being filled up in everything that you are doing and just loving the decisions you make, the career you're in, the way that you spend time with your family, making sure that you're setting goals and going out there and achieving them. The reason I have all 6 of these, and at any moment when one of these is being neglected, I can feel it in the other areas of my life, where if I'm not focusing on my fitness, then I can tell that, my finances aren't where they need to be because I'm not as mentally sharp. I don't have as much energy throughout the day. I can tell when things aren't going well with my family. That anger or frustration, sometimes I can bring that into my team, or I can stop it, or I can stop myself from having fun. So every week, what I do is I take out a piece of paper and I look at each of these areas and I start rating them on a scale of 1 to 10 this week. How much have I focused on my faith? Have I been reading the Bible? Have I been praying every day? Did I go to church on Sundays? Did I meet up with anybody for Bible study? Anything like that? Have I been abiding? That is something huge that has completely changed my life. I sit down for about 30 to 60 minutes a day and I just write to God, have conversations with them. If you haven't read the book Conversations with God, incredible book, incredible concept, and it's really changed so much stuff in my life. And then I even do it daily. So at the end of each day, I'll come through. We have our day, and then days kind of align into weeks. And for faith, I was, let's say, an 8. I read the Bible. I did all the things. For family, did I have uninterrupted time hanging out with my wife? Was I present when I was spending time with my daughter? And then I give myself a grade. You need to be honest with yourself, because he knows. He knows everything. And until you're honest with yourself, which is, again, another thing that we talk about in the En Masse Challenge, is if you're not honest with yourself, then you can't trust yourself. And if you can't trust yourself to make the decisions, to keep commitments, to do all the things that you need to do, then you're not going to live a life of freedom. So again, finance, fun, fulfillment. Grade yourself on all of these every single day, and then make it even easier. You can take these and you can add them up. Give yourself, let's say for the week, you have 70 out of 70 out of 70, and then you can add up all the grades you gave yourself each day, and then you can put it in here. Okay, I was a 50 out of 70. Give yourself a percentage on that. I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but let's say you're at 60%. That is usually about a D if you're in school. 70% is a C, 80% is a B, 90% is A's. We want to try to be those 80% or higher. You're never going to be 100% in all areas. If you are, please send me a message on Instagram, comment below this video, and let me know your secret, because that's amazing. Honestly, absolutely friggin' amazing. But again, it's not about being perfect. None of this is about perfection. It's about measuring what matters and improving where you can improve. And until you start measuring what matters, and until you start making adjustments and deepening your relationships, increasing your fun, and going deeper into your faith, you are just going to continue to struggle. You're not going to have that fulfillment. You're not going to have that freedom. And these are really the only 6 pillars that I think matter. If you think something else, let me know in the comments. I would love to, hear what you have to say about this. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be posting these once a week. And again, like, comment, share. The more people we can get to see these videos, the more impact we can make in the world. And I'm just here to share what's working in my life to help you improve yours, and just deepen your faith, deepen your relationships with family, whether that's your partner, spouse, whatever it is, your kids, all of that, and just making sure that you're living a life of freedom, fun, fulfillment, faith, all the F's. So I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on the next video.